Cop Hurls coffee, insults new black woman chief. He thought she was just another civilian, until a scalding coffee cup revealed his worst nightmare. What happens when the new police chief sees the truth firsthand? The searing heat of scalding coffee exploded against Lillian Hayes's face, a cruel, sudden assault. She stood frozen, one cheek burning, but her gaze never wavered from the burly officer, Brock Jensen, who had just brazenly flung the hot liquid at her. His eyes, cold and dismissive, held a mocking triumph. How dare he? All she had done was calmly request to file a theft report, a simple citizen seeking assistance, or so he believed. The other officers in the precinct lobby shifted uncomfortably, some even turning away, pretending to be engrossed in their desks. No one, absolutely no one, intervened. "Consider that a lesson in respect," Brock sneered, his voice dripping with icy contempt as he sauntered back to his computer. Lily wiped the hot coffee from her face, the bitter liquid mingling with a deeper internal sting. Pity flickered in the eyes of a young officer nearby, Kevin Miller, but he too remained silent, paralyzed by fear. "Thank you for showing me exactly how things operate here," Lily stated, her voice quiet yet edged with a dangerous resolve, before turning and walking out, her footsteps echoing a chilling promise through the silent station. Her skin still smarted, but it was the arrogance, the unchecked power in Brock's eyes, that truly seared her soul. At the end of the hall, Deputy Chief David Evans, one of the few who knew her true identity, rushed forward, his face etched with concern. "Are you all right, Chief?" he whispered. "I'm fine," Lily replied, her voice unnaturally cool. "You heard, didn't you?" David nodded, his eyes understanding. "I wanted to step in, but you insisted on observing things yourself." Lily pulled her hair tie free, letting her long dark hair cascade over her reddened cheek. "I had to see it," she explained, her voice tightening with a fierce, controlled anger. "I needed to witness firsthand how this place truly functions when no one knows who I am." Meanwhile, Brock Jensen, back at his desk, leaned into his worn chair, completely unaware of the monumental error he'd just committed. For him, it was just another day exercising his absolute dominion. He'd been at the precinct for over 15 years, not by merit, but by mastering the art of manipulation and leveraging connections. Once, long ago, a youthful Brock had dreamed of justice, a world made right, but the brutal, unsolved murder of his parents during a robbery had shattered that idealism, replacing it with a cynical belief in raw power, a force he could control. He had meticulously built a web of enforced loyalty and fear, exploiting weaknesses, from young recruits like Kevin Miller too terrified to challenge him, to former superiors willing to cover up his misdeed. His moral compass had shattered, replaced by a ruthless pragmatism where violence and discrimination were simply tools to maintain his reign. But now his complacency had led him to cross a woman far more formidable than he could ever imagine. In her new office, Lily Hayes washed the coffee from her skin, the cold water a temporary balm against the lingering indignation. She took a deep breath, her eyes hardening with renewed purpose. "Gather all officers in the briefing room immediately," she instructed David, who simply nodded, knowing better than to question her resolve. The briefing room pulsed with tension as officers filed in. Brock entered last, his usual swagger intact, settling into a corner seat, a smirk playing on his lips, daring anyone to challenge him. The room fell silent as Lily entered, carrying a leather case. No one recognized her at first, but as she placed the case on the table and met their gazes, a ripple of unease spread through the room. "Good morning," Lily began, her voice clear and authoritative. "I understand you've had an eventful day. Let me introduce myself. I am Lillian Hayes, and as of today, I am your new chief of police." A collective gasp filled the air. Brock, at the far end of the table, froze, his smug grin melting into an expression of shock and disbelief. "No way," he muttered, loud enough for her to hear. Lily turned, her gaze like ice. "Oh yes, Brock Jensen, I am absolutely looking forward to working with you." The room became a ticking time bomb. "I've spent the past 2 weeks observing this precinct," Lily continued, her eyes sweeping across their faces. "I've seen how you operate when you think no one is watching, and frankly, there's a great deal that needs to change." Brock swallowed hard, the ground beneath him shifting for the first time in years. He wasn't in control anymore. As Lily concluded, an oppressive silence hung in the air. Officers avoided her gaze, save for furtive glances towards Brock. He sat motionless, gripping his chair, his calm facade barely concealing the fury within. After the meeting, officers dispersed, leaving Brock alone. Kevin Miller, the young officer, hesitated at the doorway. He felt a stir of injustice, but fear held him captive. Ridiculous, isn't it? Brock suddenly snapped, startling Kevin. Who does she think she is? An outsider, knowing nothing of our operations? She won't last. Kevin nodded, desperate to escape, a growing unease churning in his gut. The precinct's atmosphere shifted instantly. Whispers spread, questions about Lily's appointment, her fitness to lead, but mostly there was a heavy silence, the silence of fear. Brock, however, remained smug, confident in his mastery of the precinct's power dynamics. Yet, this time his adversary was different. Lily wasn't a compromiser. She was a genuine threat to his carefully constructed empire. Kevin couldn't shake the image of Lily, her determination a stark contrast to the leaders he'd known. He felt her isolation. Do you think she stands a chance? Officer Dan Peterson, prone to avoiding conflict, asked Kevin. I don't know, Kevin shrugged, but she seems serious. Dan scoffed. Serious will get you nowhere here. Just make you a target fast. Kevin said nothing, trapped between his growing distaste for Brock and the fear of jeopardizing his career. From her new office window, Lily gazed at the rain-streaked sky, the droplets mirroring the complex story unfolding before her. Stacks of files lay on her desk, but her mind drifted to her past, a source of both profound motivation and enduring pain. She grew up in a struggling neighborhood, inspired by her grandmother, Eleanor Hayes, a fierce social activist, who always preached, justice isn't given, it's fought for, piece by piece. Lily vividly remembered Eleanor being roughly shoved by an officer for daring to demand fairness. That moment ignited Lily's lifelong promise to change the system from within. She pursued criminal law, joined the force, endured the dismissiveness of male colleagues, and proved herself through sheer grit. Captain Robert Bob Harrison, a seasoned veteran, recognized her potential. He became her mentor, teaching her to navigate complex cases, endure pressure, and most crucially, cling to her principles. Lily, he once told her, this profession is flawed, but a cool head and a warm heart can make all the difference. Under his guidance, she soared through the ranks, tackling major cases, becoming a rising star, then a crushing blow. During an internal investigation, Lily uncovered Captain Harrison's name, linked to corruption, accepting bribes to ignore critical evidence. She confronted him, hoping for a denial. He gave none. You don't understand, Lily, he confessed, his voice heavy with years of compromise. This system will crush you if you don't play by its rules. His admission was a betrayal that wounded her more deeply than any physical injury. Her second father, now part of the very corruption she vowed to fight, but instead of breaking her, it hardened her resolve. She would never compromise. Years of relentless dedication forged her into an exceptional officer and a respected leader. When the opportunity for chief of police arose, she knew it was her moment to fulfill her promise to herself and Eleanor, but she also knew the path would be brutal. Men like Brock Jensen were not just individuals abusing power. They were symptoms of a deeply entrenched, enabling system. In his cramped office, Brock Jensen stared at the faded medals on his wall, a harsh fluorescent glow, illuminating his weary, yet arrogant face. He was trying to find meaning in a career that had long lost its purpose. Once, like Lily, he had believed in justice, but the unsolved murder of his parents, the system's failure, had shattered his faith, leaving him with only a hunger for control and self-preservation. He had mutated into a tyrant, weaving a web of fear within the precinct, where young officers like Kevin Miller felt helpless. His climb up the ranks was a testament to his ability to cover up misconduct and claim others' successes. He justified his rigidity, his authoritarianism, as necessary for order, blind to how it alienated decent colleagues and bred resentment. Early pangs of guilt had long vanished, replaced by a conviction that his violent, discriminatory acts were essential for survival. Lily's arrival ignited his deepest fear, losing control. She wasn't a reformer to him. She was an existential threat. If she wants a fight, I'll give her a war, he snarled to himself, a cold smile spreading, but a gnawing unease lingered. Lily wasn't like the others he'd crushed. Brock strode through the precinct, his smirk unwavering, confident that his power was unshakable. But a knot formed in his stomach when he saw officers gathering outside the conference room, an unscheduled meeting. He entered slowly, sitting at the far end, a silent defiance. The room was thick with unspoken tension, officers whispering, glancing nervously at him. Kevin Miller fidgeted, sensing a seismic shift. Then the doors opened. Lily, in a crisp new uniform, her badge gleaming, silenced the room with her presence. "Good morning," she began, her voice calm yet commanding. "I know you're wondering why we're here. My name is Lillian Hayes, and I am your new chief of police." The room froze, gasps rippled. Kevin's eyes widened in disbelief. Dan Peterson's face brightened with a flicker of hope. Brock's jaw clenched, his eyes blazing, his composure cracking. A woman, an outsider, daring to threaten everything he'd built. "I'm not here to make friends," Lily stated, her voice sharp. "I'm here to ensure this precinct serves the community, not individual power." Brock let out a derisive laugh. "You think you can change anything here?" Lily's gaze met his, sharp as a blade. "I don't think, Brock. I know." She slammed a thick folder onto the table. "This is the first step of my reform plan. This isn't a purge, it's an opportunity." She revealed plans for ethics training, new complaint procedures, an independent oversight unit. "I will not tolerate abuse of power. If you have something to hide, come forward now. If not, I will find it." Her words were not a threat. They were a chilling promise. Some officers paled. Others, like Kevin, felt a spark of hope. Brock leaned back, studying her, his hatred deepening. He saw no opportunity, only a mortal threat. "Say what you want," he challenged, his voice calm but defiant. "This system won't change as easily as you think." Lily's gaze never wavered. "Then we'll see who's right, Brock." Brock stormed out, a darker plan already forming. Lily wouldn't last, he vowed. He slammed his office door, the echo rattling the precinct. He slumped into his chair, eyes fixed on his medals. Everything he'd built threatened. "She wants to destroy it all," he fumed. Lily, he knew, had vulnerabilities. Her newness, her lack of established trust. She was a prime target. That evening, he gathered his loyalists, men he'd coerced or bought through fear and privilege. "She's here to make us pawns," he hissed, his voice low. "Who among us is clean? If she starts digging, we all go down." Dan Peterson hesitated, but she said, "It's a fresh start." Brock's eyes narrowed. "You believe that? She'll use us as scapegoats." His words sowed fear, securing their silent compliance. The next morning, Brock executed his plan. He subtly undermined Lily, questioning her understanding of their operations, accusing her of tearing down, not building. "She knows nothing," he scoffed to colleagues. He even reached out to Councilman Marcus Thorne, a powerful official. "If she brings me down, our entire system collapses," Brock argued. Thorne agreed to help, but with a warning: "You're a pawn, don't disappoint me." Brock nodded, suppressing his rage, ready to risk everything. With Thorne's backing, he fed local reporters carefully crafted narratives. Lily, the clueless outsider, imposing her will, hunting officers for personal gain. Articles surfaced, subtly painting Lily as an inexperienced disruptor. Brock, blinded by arrogance, never realized he was just a pawn in Thorne's larger game. Cornered by mounting evidence, Brock escalated. He convinced Thorne to arrange a private meeting with a prominent judge. "Help me," Brock offered, "and no investigation will ever touch you." He presented a fabricated dossier, implying Lily had suppressed evidence in a past case, a document that could instantly shatter her credibility. Thorne, sensing the volatility, agreed, but with a condition: "You handle this. If you fail, I'm out." Brock accepted. Days later, the dossier leaked to a major newspaper. Police Chief Lillian Hayes accused. The headline screamed. Shockwaves ripped through the precinct, and the public. Lily's supporters wavered. Her critics rejoiced. Reporters swarmed. Brock watched the chaos, convinced he'd delivered the decisive blow. "She's strong," he mused, a cold smile spreading. "But no one can withstand this." A thick fog of suspicion settled over the precinct. Lily,
outwardly composed, felt every scrutinizing gaze. The articles were relentless, sowing doubt even among her quiet supporters. This wasn't just Brock. It was a vast hidden network. She immediately launched an internal investigation, with Kevin and David's help, to expose the dossier's forgery. The truth needs no hiding, she declared to the media, vowing full cooperation. The investigation swiftly revealed expertly forged signatures and doctored data. Lily even found evidence of a loyal Brock officer secretly accessing old files. With forensic support, she presented her findings, unmasking the dossier as a desperate smear. Brock Jensen thinks he can bend justice, Lily proclaimed, but justice is not so easily swayed. The truth will always prevail. Late one evening, a soft knock startled Lily in her office. Kevin Miller stood hesitantly, clutching a thick file, anxiety etched on his face. "Chief, I think you need to see this." Lily took the file, her eyes scanning financial records, memos, email chain. A horrifying picture emerged. Brock was the linchpin of a sprawling network of corrupt officers and city officials, including Councilman Thorne. Emails revealed a coordinated effort to cover up everything from wrongful arrests to bribes from criminal enterprises. Thorne, it turned out, was a primary sponsor, shielding Brock as a tool for shady operations. Lily felt a surge of cold fury. This fight was far bigger than Brock Jensen. It was against a system built on silence and complicity. The next day, Kevin felt unfamiliar glances, unexpected questions. Brock suspected. One evening, leaving the precinct, Kevin spotted a strange car, engine idling, headlights glaring. His heart hammered, but he quickened his pace. As he unlocked his car, a voice hissed from the shadows. "Miller, be careful. You don't know who you're messing with." He spun around, but saw no one. The car roared away, leaving him trembling in the dark. Lily knew she couldn't keep this secret. She called an emergency meeting with David and her trusted officers, spreading the documents Kevin had bravely uncovered. "This isn't about one person anymore," Lily stated, her voice firm. "We're against a system, but strategically, we can dismantle it." David nodded, concern warring with determination. "Do you have a plan?" "We go public," Lily replied, "but not yet. We need more evidence. So when we strike, there's no room for cover-ups." The next morning, a different atmosphere greeted Lily at the precinct. Every eye, a mix of curiosity and skepticism, followed her. Whispers echoed. David rushed over, phone in hand. "Chief, you have to see this." A new article screamed. "New leader faces troubled past. Who is Lillian Hayes?" It accused her of using personal connections for career advancement, insinuating favoritism from her former mentor, Captain Harrison. It even highlighted a past case where key evidence vanished under her watch. Lily gripped the phone, the personal attack cutting deep. She knew it was Brock's latest move. "We can issue a rebuttal," David urged. "No," Lily stated. "That will only amplify the story. I need to know who's behind this." David nodded, worried. "This won't stop, will it, Lily?" That evening, at home, Lily sensed something was off. Her living room window was ajar. A chill crept over her. Her hand instinctively went to her hip, where her weapon rested. On the kitchen table, her cherished childhood photo of her and grandmother Eleanor lay face down. A handwritten note on the back. "Don't forget what you've left behind." A clear threat, aimed at her deepest vulnerabilities. Who had done this? How much did they know? She took a deep breath, steadying herself. The next morning, in an emergency meeting, Lily laid the article on the table. "Someone here is talking to the press," she announced, her voice low but commanding, "and there will be severe consequences." The tension was palpable. Kevin, in the corner, felt the weight but couldn't speak. Afterwards, David entered Lily's office. "We traced the source. An anonymous tip from within. It's Dan Peterson." Lily closed her eyes, a wave of disappointment washing over her. Dan, a senior officer she'd believed she could trust, had betrayed her. "Why?" Lily asked, her voice razor sharp. "Brock," David replied. "He promised him something, a promotion, protection." Days turned into a growing wave of criticism. Whispers turned to open skepticism. The most painful part, isolation. Despite allies like Kevin and David, Lily knew this was about defending her reputation, regaining trust. Late one night, alone, she stared out her office window at the city lights. Eleanor's words echoed. Justice isn't something you wait for. Lily, you fight for it. Even if you fight alone. Her gaze hardened. She couldn't let Brock and his network wait. But first, she had to rebuild trust. Confront the accusations head on. Lily sat in her office, the internal investigation documents before her. But her mind was consumed by the outside chaos. The articles intensified. Then, Brock's latest insidious move, a video. He sat in a dim room, calm but bitter, proclaiming himself a whistleblower. He wove distorted tales, painting Lily as a tyrannical, incompetent leader. This isn't about me, he declared to the camera. It's about officers discarded like pawns. Lily Hayes only cares about power. The video exploded, catching major media attention. Journalists dubbed him a hero, a central figure in a fight against Lily's supposed abuses. His stories lacked evidence, but they sowed doubt. Within days, public tension mounted. Protests erupted outside the precinct. Justice for Brock Jensen. Lillian Hayes, resign. We need real leadership. Lily stood by her window, watching the chanting crowd, refusing to waver. David warned her of officers siding with Brock, of provocative questions undermining her authority in meetings. People are losing faith, an officer exclaimed. If we don't act, the community's trust is lost. Lily remained composed. This wasn't just personal. It was Brock's strategy to divide her team. That evening, Lily gathered her loyal allies, David and Kevin. She laid out new evidence of Brock's corruption network. We can't let him control the narrative, she stated. We must expose the truth. But precisely, one wrong move serves his agenda. David nodded. But with public opinion against you, how do we rebuild trust? We don't need to rebuild trust immediately, Lily replied. We need the truth. The truth will speak for itself. Days and nights blurred as Lily's team meticulously scrutinized every document. Lily reached out to trusted journalists, those seeking facts, not sensation. Meanwhile, Brock escalated, holding informal press briefings, framing himself as the victim, Lily as a tyrant. He was unaware his facade was cracking. Lily's team worked tirelessly, piecing together the evidence to expose the full scope of corruption. They knew there could be no misstep. Their preparation wasn't just for Lily's vindication, but to dismantle the entire enabling network. The battle lines were drawn. Brock played the victim. Lily focused on the truth. The fight was far from over, but for the first time, Lily saw the path clearly. Brock Jensen strode into the precinct, his usual confidence dimmed by a gnawing unease. His smear campaign had ignited public fury, but he knew Lily held evidence that could bring him down. Officers cast anxious glances his way, but he clung to the illusion of control. Just one more move, he thought, and she won't touch me. That morning, Lily held a press conference. She stood before the cameras, calm, resolute, a thick folder of painstakingly gathered evidence before her. The room buzzed with anticipation. Just as she began, protesters stormed the entrance, shouting justice for Brock and fake chief. The truth, Lily declared, her voice steady above the din. Today, I will reveal evidence proving that not just one individual, but an entire network, has manipulated justice and abused power for years. She laid out financial documents proving Brock's bribes, internal emails, detailing his collusion with Councilman Thorne to cover up misconduct, unlawful arrests, intimidation. Then she named higher-profile figures, exposing Brock's connections to Thorne and other key players who had shielded him. The room fell silent as Lily revealed Thorne's misappropriation of community funds for illegal activities, including the smear campaigns against her. Reporters erupted, but Lily remained composed. This is just the tip of the iceberg. As Lily calmly signaled officers to maintain order, the protesters refused to yield. She's destroyed this system. Make her pay, a man screamed, inciting the crowd. At that moment, The back door opened. Brock Jensen entered, radiating icy confidence. To the protesters, he was a hero. A faint, mocking smile touched his lips as he slowly approached Lily. "Oh, Lillian Hayes," he taunted, his voice low. "I never thought you'd go to such lengths just to take me down." Lily's gaze was unwavering. "Brock, this isn't about you. It's about people like you, who exploit power instead of protecting the community." He chuckled coldly, stepping closer. "You'll never bring down this system, Lily. I'm part of it. You're just an outsider." Lily met his challenge head on. "You're right, Brock. The system is bigger than us both, but it thrives because people like you are allowed to exploit it. I won't let that continue." Just then, internal investigative officers burst in, breaking the standoff. "Brock Jensen, you're under arrest for bribery, abuse of power, and obstruction of justice," one officer declared, his voice cutting through the tension. Brock froze, then regained his composure. "You think you've won, Lily? This game isn't over." As he was led away, he shot her one last defiant glare. Lily remained silent, her gaze following him. The room was quiet, but the tension lingered. A small victory in a much larger war. News of Brock's arrest exploded across the city. Public reaction was divided. Some hailed Lily as a champion. Others criticized her, questioning how Brock had operated unchecked for so long. Councilman Thorne and others, indicated, scrambled to destroy evidence. But Lily moved swiftly, thwarting their efforts. Despite the progress, Lily knew the fight against these entrenched forces would be arduous. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but she was determined to see it through, one battle at a time. A palpable sense of relief settled over the precinct as Brock Jensen's vehicle pulled away. Yet the tension remained, a stark reminder that his fall was a warning to all who had compromised. For Lily, it was the end of the first battle, but the true war had just begun. In the days following, Lily initiated critical reforms: transparent complaint handling, improved ethics training, public forums. At one community meeting, a man bluntly asked, "We lost faith long ago. How can you guarantee this won't happen again?" Lily replied with quiet determination, "I can't change the past, but I promise accountability for everyone, including myself." No applause, but attentive gazes hinted at the nascent stirrings of trust. Late one night, in her office, Lily reflected on Eleanor's words. "Justice isn't something you wait for. You fight for it." The journey had just begun, she realized, and even small steps could yield profound change. Within a month, the precinct transformed. Training improved. Complaints were handled with transparency. Morale began to mend. In the break room, tired officers laughed, their stories now about integrity, not bending rules. Kevin Miller, once silent, became a strong voice. One afternoon, he visited Lily. "You've changed me, Chief," he confessed, his voice sincere. "I thought I was just a cog. Now I see every action matters. Thank you for not giving up, even when I didn't dare to stand by you." Lily smiled, pride in her eyes. "I didn't do this alone, Kevin. This is our collective effort." Community meetings shifted. A woman who had once harshly criticized Lily stood. "I wasn't sure I believed in you," she admitted, "but now I see the difference. Thank you for facing what others avoided." Before the holiday break, Lily addressed her officers, veterans and recruits. "We've endured tough times, external and internal. What we've accomplished isn't just fixing a broken system. It's rebuilding trust, for ourselves and for the community." She paused, her voice softening. "Justice isn't a destination. It's a journey, one that demands we keep striving. We will make mistakes, but what matters is how we face them. Our mission isn't just to enforce the law. It's to embody trust." As officers quietly left, an older woman entered. Karen, a longtime resident and former fierce critic. "Chief Hayes, may I speak with you?" she asked, her voice wavering. Lily gestured for her to sit. Karen clutched her handbag. I thought you were just another pretender. I didn't think you truly cared." She paused, emotional, But I was wrong. You helped my son avoid a terrible mistake. You helped me see not everyone here is bad. Lily's expression softened. Thank you. That means a lot. I'm just doing my job. But I promise this community will not be let down again. Karen clasped Lily's hand, eyes glistening. Don't stop, Chief Hayes. We need you. As Karen left, a familiar figure appeared. Dan Peterson, the officer who betrayed Lily and Brock's scheme. He hesitated. Chief, Dan began, his voice halting. I know I was wrong. I have no excuse, but I want to be part of the change, to fix what I broke. Lily studied him. Actions speak louder than words, Dan. If you truly want to change, you'll get the chance, but I need your commitment. Dan nodded, eyes reflecting determination. I'm committed. Thank you for not turning your back on me. The room fell silent, not with fear, but with the quiet consensus of trust being rebuilt. Officers nodded, a newfound resolve in their eyes. Lily had ignited a spark of change. They all wanted to nurture. Alone at her office window, Lily gazed at the city light. Eleanor's words echoed. Justice isn't the end. It's a journey. Her journey, though difficult, was on the right path. Who else, she wondered, would have stood up, thinking of her team, her community? Lily felt a profound resolve. Justice wasn't just about leaders. It was about every individual willing to fight, even in small ways. What would you do in the face of injustice? Would you stand up or remain silent? Would you be part of the change, even with a small act? Share your thoughts below and help spread the message of justice. The world needs not just brave leaders, but united voices. Up for Sarah Society. If this story inspired you, like, share, and subscribe for more meaningful journeys. Together, we can make a difference, starting with ourselves. Lily smiled faintly. The road ahead was long, but she was no longer alone. She had her team, her community, and an unwavering belief that real change was possible.